Hey folks, today I need to fix the rear light cluster on my BMW. It's a 2014 BMW 4 Series, and if you found your way here, you probably also have the same error messages appearing on your dash that I just put in to the intro. That means you may or may not have non-functioning tail light bulbs. My car had been intermittently doing this for 6 months, and I checked the bulbs regularly. There was no problem with them. But clearly that was just the start of the issue manifesting. It's a fairly well-known issue with the pins on the rear light bulb holder into the plug. The pins burn out inside the plug, and eventually you lose electrical connectivity and your bulbs stop working. So as you just seen in that video, the bulbs now have completely stopped working. And that's not great news if you have a fear of electrics like I do. Me and electrics don't really get along. But the good news is, like I said, it's a fairly well-known issue, and there is a repair kit available from BMW. I went ahead and ordered this repair kit off eBay. You can get it from BMW themselves. It was just easier for me to get it off eBay. So you get a repair plug. So that's a new plug to go into the loom. You get the pin connectors, which you snip off and put onto the wires. The green podges there are to seal those connectors into the plug, and then the blue ones seal any holes that you're not using. So that is your BMW part number on that one. And it also comes with this, which is the actual bulb holder for the lights. And the reason you need a new one of these, you might be able to reuse your bulbs, I'm hoping so, because I don't have any spares. It is those pins there that burn out, and they basically melt inside the connector, and that's what causes your problem. And the good news is, if you own a 3 Series, you'll pay about a third less than I did. The repair kit's complete with the bulb holder and the connectors are about 45 to 50 pounds in Britain. The ones for the 4 Series, which I have, are more like 70. Because I am going to be messing around with the wiring harness on the car, I am going to go ahead and disconnect the battery on the car first of all, just to make sure that I don't cause any more problems. So on the 4 Series, nice easy access, just quarter turn and pop this cover out, stash that out of the way. So there's a 10mm socket securing the negative clamp, so just undo that. You don't need to undo it all the way, you just need to make sure it's nice and loose so that the battery will come off without putting up a fight. Good grief, that's tight. So that's it out, and I like to just tuck it out of the way and also put a cloth under it so that it can't arc and reconnect. Then onto the positive. On the positive, you need to be really careful of this little cable here, because that is connected to the SRS airbag system on the car, and if you damage that, you will end up in a world of pain with all manner of error codes, so you want to avoid that big time. So we'll just pull this clamp off nice and carefully, and same under that. Cloth just make sure it can't connect. First up, I need to remove this trim piece cover to get access to the lights. If memory serves, that's just a scrivet, so that's a plastic screw rivet. Pop that out, and and then you'll be able to remove this cover, which gives you access to the lights. Now, I can't help but think, BMW, that part of the problem here might be getting caused by how easy it is for water to get in behind this cover. Not your finest design. So the next thing to do is remove these two 10mm nuts, and these secure the rear light cluster into the body. There you go. And then the light unit should just pop out. It's going to be a little bit sticky from being in there for years. There we go. So I've swapped to iPhone camera here. This is the new bulb holder for the car, and in that you can see the 4 pins. So you've this one out all on its own, and then 3 pins in a line. If I swap to the bulb holder that's just come off the car, you can see that center pin has completely burnt out, disappeared away. Now, deepening the connector, this purple plastic piece here is what secures the pins into the connector. So if I get a really small flat blade screwdriver in behind that clip and just lever it out. Now the intricacy here is you can see the little triangles in the pin connector. You need to push those down at the same time as pushing the pin back, and then you should be able to remove it from the connector. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and try and do. Well, the easy option didn't work. Essentially because the pin, if I show you on the top one, I'm hoping you can see this on the GoPro. If I push the little triangle in on the pin, then this pin pops out. Absolute piece of cake, no problem at all. And it's essentially the same with the bottom pins. You just push the little tab in and those pins release straight away and out they come. On the pin that is burnt out, the problem is the pin is actually wedged inside these little connectors, so I can't push the little triangle on the pin in to release it from the bulb holder. And I think if I apply too much force to it, I'm in the connector rather, I think I'm in danger of really damaging the inside of the connector to the point I won't get a good connection after doing it. So the solution is going to have to be, I think, to snip this wire and replace the connector, but I won't replace these pins because these are fine, these are in good condition. I just need to replace that one, which is, not going to lie, a little bit frustrating, but is what it is. And nice and close. What I'm going to do is prepare the new bulb, the new plug before it goes in. So same plugs, 2141397 part number. So what I'm going to do is insert the little blue podges into there, and that's to stop water ingress into the plug. So into number 2 and number 3. In you go. I'm just putting them in lightly at first with a fingernail, and just progressively pushing them down. Actually, rather than using a flathead screwdriver, I will use a suitably sized mini Torx to just push them all the way home. Make sure that they're nice and engaged, creating a watertight seal. Right, now on to preparing the replacement connector. So, first things first, I'm going to need one of these little connectors. I'm going to need one of these seals, and I'm going to need the wire strippers. Now I'm going to swap to iPhone camera for this. Now I've seen other videos of doing replacements of these pins, and the geezers are like stripping the wires back all the way down like that far or even further. That is not what you need to do with these style of pin connectors. If I zoom in and try and hold the camera still, that green bit of silicone rubber seals the connector. Now these little bits that are wrapped around the green rubber, they give it a good seal onto the cable. So the cable outer is still underneath that. You can see a little bit of yellow and black coming out the end of the green silicone on that one. And the section of wire then goes into just the top of the pin. Alright, so you only need to strip maybe that much of the wire off, the outer sheath of the wire. You only need to strip probably 5mm. To my American friends, about, I can't even think what that is, 3/16 of an inch, something like that. Because this bit here is going to wrap round the cable, this very open prongs, that's going round the silicone rubber and the outer cable, and then that crimp second in there is, there we go, that bit that's sticking out in the middle, that's going to clamp round the wire, and that's all you need, very, very little. Alright, trusty little bit stripped off, and then I'm going to spin twist the end together just to make it easier to get our silicone rubber sealer over the top. And again, I'm going to put that on whilst twisting it just to make it go on and go over nice and easy. And I'm going to keep pushing it on until I get just a hint of the brown outer sheath poking through at the end. There you go, the green silicone rubber pushed on, and you can just see the brown insulator coming out the end. Okay, so that goes into the little bit there, and they're going to go around. So I'm going to go ahead, I can just clamp that into place, just loosely at first to hold it, whilst I deal with the clamps around the silicone. Clamp them nice and tight so they're gripping on the rubber, and then I'm just going to clamp that nice and tight onto the copper wire. That's our old connector. Our new connector. So we're going
stripey in the top. You'll hear a little click as they go home. Next up, the new kid. You're going in that one. And you go. And then what's next? Black and white stripes. You're going into that one. And lastly, in you go. All in, hopefully all watertight. At this point it would make sense to do a quick check on the other bulbs in the bulb holder. So just gonna go ahead and remove that from the tail light. And just going to check. Yeah, there's nothing, doesn't appear to actually be anything wrong with that tail light and brake bulb. And the indicator bulb itself looks fine. It's just that pin that's a problem. So let's go ahead and do a bulb swap. Come on, you. Let's click into place. Here we go. Just make sure everything's nice and home. Click. Oh. Last thing, slide the purple plastic in just to crimp everything up. Can't forget that. Nearly did. Secure the harness into the bulb holder and its little dooket. And I'll pop that in there. I'm not going to put the whole thing back together just yet, in case I've not actually been successful in fixing it. So, reconnecting the battery. Go ahead and do positive terminal first. So, up that comes out of the way. On she goes. Do a finishing tighten on that in a moment. Let's get that one out of the way, and let's get you on that one properly. Oh, say a prayer, say a prayer. Door open, no warning. Boot open, fair enough, I can live with that.